Is there a set of horror gore films more divisive than Saw? I like in relation to longevity. Like some people have a lot of comments to do with Hostel, but Saw's made it all the way to Saw 10, and that was released in 2023, which is obviously an American horror-ish style film. That is something I'm still shocked managed to make it to 10. But it's sitting in the timeline as a sequel to the original, but before Saw 2. So Saw 10 is like Saw 1.5 for anyone who is keeping track of timelines. The film is directed by Kevin Greutert, who's known for Saw 6 and Saw 3D. It was written by Peter Goldfinger and Josh Stolberg, who also wrote Jigsaw and Spiral, which were, I suppose, the last two additions. Sorry, yeah, last two additions to the Saw franchise. And this is back to having Tobin Bell star in the film, with his co-star being Shawnee Smith, both of which were characters who died in the first three Saw films. Yeah, I think they both died in 3. If that's a spoiler for anyone, I don't know what to tell you. This installment has been in the works since April 2021, and the script was finished in December of that year. Filming then took place from October 2022 to February 2023, with it then getting released in October. There are plans for a Saw 11, I believe, to come out this Halloween 2024, which I'm excited for that, and I didn't really expect to get excited for a Saw film again. They actually did such a good job with this one. The filming took place in Mexico City, and on a budget of 13 million, the last time I checked it made a profit of over it made a box office of over $70 million. So we know these types of films generally make money due to the budget being low, due to the low operating costs, but it's great to see the profit doing well for Saw. Crazy to think that the series has basically been going on for 20 years. 2004 was the first one, and then we got annual releases until Saw 7 in 2010, and I was too young to go and see those, but I remember going to the cinema to see Jigsaw on a Sunday morning at 10 a.m. after being on a night out the night before. I couldn't think of a better way to spend my Sunday mornings while I was struggling. So I do look at that film with a bit of rose-tinted glasses and appreciate maybe the time in my life more than the film, but I have no complaints about either. But Saw 10 or Saw X is definitely a better film. I know that the series is a favourite of gore fans in general, and that type of thing doesn't change over the years. So if you appreciated the earlier Saws, you're still going to like or appreciate this one. It may not be your favourite film in the world, but you're still going to enjoy it. And if you didn't like the original Saws, you won't like this one. After John Kramer is told he only has a few months to live after getting his recent CT scan, he is drinking from a tap in the hospital, and he sees a janitor who's about to effectively rob a patient, and he begins thinking of a new trap, because we've witnessed the thing he did in Saw 1 with the bathroom, and now we do get the more intricate traps later on. So it is interesting to see the way that his mind works and develops over time, and with him trying to figure out how to live his short-term life with the condition that he has, up until he goes to a cancer support group and someone tells him of a miraculous surgery they had that saved them when they were expected to die as well. Kramer's interest is piqued, and he travels to Mexico in an effort to partake in this surgery and save his life. But after figuring out that he's effectively been tricked and his life has not been saved despite being told so, he organises a series of traps, games if you will, for the people who lied to him, and he calls in help, which results in Shawnee Smith returning. By having this type of interaction, we have these two characters who we know and care for, and they speak on the phone with someone who's only referred to as detective throughout the film, and it does demonstrate that even now, years later, these characters are still people that we know and are interested in. So if they had stayed alive in the main timeline perhaps for longer, the series would possibly be in a different place. There is an issue with this, that this game that he creates is effectively done with limited resources on the spot, which means that it's not exactly as refined as you would expect from Jigsaw in this case. That 3 of the 5 traps were completed effectively properly or correctly, but the people lost due to timing, which, as we've come to realise over the previous films, but future films to come in this regard, Jigsaw wouldn't allow that to happen. He would have created a situation where these people could be saved, but there's no assistance being given to these characters in this instance. Is that perhaps because they defrauded Kramer in some way as opposed to defrauding someone else, and then his willingness to be kind is based on the fact that he's not the one who's been affected? Like, we don't know. We may never know. Maybe Saw 11 will show us, but that's a point. But that means he's basically killing these people, not that they're killing themselves, which then makes him a murderer, which is what he never claimed to be and never wanted to be or be viewed as throughout all the other films. So he kind of, backpedaled on that one. But however, the post-credit scene in this film naturally does give a lot of rise for what we can expect in Saw 11 with the return of Hoffman. And it's an interesting one. I would love to see the dynamic again between Hoffman, Amanda, and... Why can't Kramer? I couldn't think of that. Between Kramer, Amanda, and Hoffman. The best part about this film was I knew nothing about it going into it other than that it was Saw X or Saw 10. I didn't know the placement, the location, or what the story was, and I had watched any of the trailers. I'm going to do my best again for Saw 11. I think that's the best way to enjoy these films. Know the name or the franchise and just go into it not being 100% sure what it is you're getting yourself in for. Because if you appreciate the other ones, you're more than likely going to appreciate whatever it is you're going to see. If you didn't like it, it's not for you anyway. After 10 installments, you're going to know. But did you think it was, did anyone else think it was a good idea? To kind of go back to when it did? You had to bring back Kramer, you had to bring back, Tobin Bell as Kramer, and then introducing Amanda and then showing you that Hoffman was still around. It was definitely an intriguing choice, and one that I thought was inspired in relation to the way that this series had gone over the years, that we needed to go back and kind of reset, because Spiral was not exactly the way that they wanted to tell stories, and Jigsaw was a cool idea, but perhaps again executed not ideally. So we did need a return to form, or at least to go back to the way that things were to hit a home run.